Lost in the Lost City. Hello everyone, I'm Aakriti, Queen of Words. Welcome. It's time for a thriller story now. So let's open the book and make sure that you write in the comment box what are your thoughts about the story. So let's begin and get ready to tie your seat belts and keep your mobiles on silent because you will soon go on a ride that may send chills down your spine. Once upon a time, there was a very intelligent boy named Jack. He lived in Skyline City and loved going on adventures. He was known for solving all kinds of mysteries and helping people who approached him. The interesting part was that he had a monkey who stayed in the forest in front of his home and used to accompany him in all his adventures. The monkey's name was Moosey. They both made an excellent pair together. Moosey was a great support for Jack. Jack used to cycle up to the mountain top every day after school. Mosey used to go along with him. Jack used to sit there and admire the beautiful scenery along with the cool breeze which touched his soft cheeks, while Mosey used to jump all over and have fun seeing around. This scenery is so beautiful, Jack said, looking at Moosey. But Moosey was lost in his own dreams. On a Sunday, Jack went cycling on a small road on the way to top of the mountain as usual and was having beautiful moments looking at the blue sky and the white clouds. The road was surrounded with fresh red roses and the chirping of the birds filled the area. It was an amazing scenery. Hey Muzi, last night I had a dream that today's going to be a very fun day, said Jack as they were going up the mountain. Muzi sat behind Jack on his cycle and was having a fun time looking at the roses. While sitting on the top of the mountain, Jack got a call on his phone, and as he was walking on the grass, speaking on the phone, he suddenly tripped onto something. Oops, he said as he fell down. Muzi came running and stood beside him. Jack then said with a smile, I am all right, Muzi, just fell down. What happened? A voice came from the other end of the phone. Oh, I just tripped over a roll of paper. I'm okay. I did not get hurt because I fell on grass. So I'll talk to you later, Jack said and kept his phone in his pocket. He picked up the roll of paper on which he had tripped. It was old, covered with dust and a bit crushed. There was an old black rubber band which was tied across it. This looks interesting, he said to himself, taking out the rubber band. This must have flown here along with the wind. This was not there yesterday. See, it is so light weighted, he said, looking at Moosey. Moosey was jumping with excitement, trying to have a look at what was there in the paper. Jack opened it to see what secrets was it holding. Jack then said, I really hope this is something fun. Once opened, he saw certain brownish lines and symbols drawn across the paper, but they were not clear due to the dirt on it. He then picked up a dry leaf from the ground and softly wiped off the dirt from the paper. They should help, he said to himself. He couldn't believe his eyes once he removed the dirt. Wow, this is a map. It's time to solve another mystery, he said to himself happily. He had the whole day ahead of him. Hey, Muzi, see what I have found? Look here. You see this point? He said to Muzi as he pointed out a part on the map. This is a treasure box. See? A box is made here with a symbol of key. This must certainly be a special box, he said with a big smile. Muzi started to happily take rounds of Jack. And what is that? I don't believe this. These are the symbols of some gold coins and some antique articles. Jack said to Muzi as he disconnected an unknown call on his phone. He asked Muzi, should we go and find it? In return, Muzi started to jump with joy again. But first let me figure out that where is this secretly hiding? We are standing at this location right now, Jack pointed out in the map, and the treasure box is here. That means we are not far away. It's time for a new adventure, Muzi. Yippee! Jack said as he cheered with happiness, and Muzi went crazy, jumping with joy. They both hopped onto the cycle and followed the directions of the map till they reached a small stream. The stream was flowing from a beautiful waterfall which would make anyone want to sit there and just adore it. Jack drank water in it and set his gelled hair in the reflection of the water. Right opposite to him, on the other side of the stream, he saw a board with the sign of the Lost City. Its direction board pointed towards the right. Let's go, Muzi! Jack exclaimed with happiness. They crossed a beautiful brown bridge, hopped down, and went in the right direction till a point came wherein the road just ended. There were leaves spread in front of the road, and there was a board with the sign, "You have to walk from here." Jack parked his cycle on one side and went ahead with Muzi. Within 5 minutes, they entered a beautiful garden. There was something different about this garden. It was colorful with many types of trees, fruits, and small animals on one side, while on the other side of the garden they could see a huge brown rusted gate which looked very old and untouched for many years. It was covered with spider webs and was quite dirty. It was very magical to see a colorful garden right in front of an old rusted gate. Both the sceneries were very opposite. "This is so strange," Jack said as he looked around. Jack then looked at the map and said, "This is it. The map shows that the treasure box is around this location only. Hey Muzi, it's time to get lost in the lost city," Jack said as they both jumped with joy. On approaching the gate, Jack saw a board which was hanging on a nail on the right side of the gate. The board had the following written on it in big letters: "The Lost City." Things were getting crazier with every moment. He dusted off some rust from the gate with his blue handkerchief and pushed the door. But the door did not move at all. It was just standing there like a mountain, firm and huge. "This gate is locked," said Jack, looking at it very carefully. He looked around and said, "There must be some way to open this gate. Muzi, do you see that? There's a heap of leaves below the tree. Is it not too large? The tree doesn't have these many leaves as compared to this heap of leaves below. Surely these leaves are hiding some secret under them." "Let's go, Muzi," he said as they went towards the roots of the tree. Jack spread the dried leaves in all directions and Musi climbed up the tree to see if he could figure out anything from up there. What is that? Jack asked as he caught hold of a blue box which was locked. What do you think is there inside this box, Musi? He asked Musi as he carefully examined the box. Is it the password for opening the gate of the lost city? What do you think? Jack asked as he signaled Musi to come down. Come down fast, Musi. I have an idea, Jack said as Musi came down. He handed over the box to Musi and signaled him to climb the tree again and drop the box from the top of the tree. This is crazy. If everything goes according to the plan, then the lock will break when this box hits the ground, exclaimed Jack with shiny eyes. Musi dropped the box from the top. Boom! There was a huge noise. Hearing the noise, the birds flew away from the trees. Rabbits ran away. Squirrels rushed here and there, and the dried leaves from the heap flew up in the air and rested on the ground slowly. As Jack picked up the box, its lock fell to the ground. I am loving this, Jack said as he opened the box excitedly. In it, there was a dry old leaf with the following letters written on it. Password: The Lost City. They went to the gate and Jack started to figure out as to wherein he had to put the password. Musi climbed up the tree again to see whether he could find anything. Suddenly, Musi rushed down, went up to Jack and started to pull his shirt. What is it, Musi? Did you see anything? He is trying to tell me something, Jack said as he followed Musi. Musi pulled him to the leftmost corner of the gate, wherein there was a rusted silver button. Wow, it's your turn, Musi. Come on, press that button, Jack said excitedly. Musi jumped and pressed the button, and Jack was surprised to see a small rectangle wooden board sliding towards the right. Right, the password was written on it. This is unbelievable. I think we need to write the password in here, he said as he took out a black marker from his bag and wrote, The Lost City. And guess what? Yes, you can guess. Just try. The door slid towards the left, opening only to a size of a boy, and Jack and Musi squeezed themselves into the lost city. The door closed with a bang behind them, making the peaceful birds fly and the squirrels rush here and there again. I can spend my whole life in here searching for mysteries, Jack said as he observed the lost city from the entrance. They went ahead and saw that all the roads were cracked. The buildings were damaged and the whole environment was dry and dirty. The fountains were dried up. Big spider webs could be seen everywhere. The street lights were hanging from the poles and the benches were broken. One could see and tell that the city had been silent since years. But Jack and Musi were loving it. After all, they loved going on adventures. They both went ahead and started looking at each and everything. Jack was following the map and trying to tally objects with it. On the other hand, Musi was having a gala time looking at objects he had never seen in his life before. Musi held Jack's bag and started to pull it down. This meant that he wanted a banana to eat. Wait, Musi, you'll damage the map, Jack said as he placed the map on the side of the road, opened the bag, and gave him a banana and drank some water from his bottle. They both moved on, and suddenly Jack said, Muzi, you see that old huge damaged building? That was a palace back then. It must be so beautiful, Jack said as he smiled. Suddenly Jack said, Muzi, did you notice something? Muzi jumped with excitement. That statue is placed on a square block. Does this mean something? Is this block the place where the treasure box lies? Jack asked as they went towards the statue and saw that it was covered with dust and dirt. Moosey started to jump, and some of the dust and dirt rised up and mixed with the air due to the force of his jumping. Intelligent you are, Jack said, looking at Moosey. Jack knocked on the square block to have an idea if he could figure out anything about what was inside it. He suddenly saw that Moosey was taking rounds of a huge clock tower standing opposite to the statue. What is that? Is this our clue? He whispered to himself. Jack went up to the clock tower and observed it carefully. Hey, Moosey, what does a clock tell us? Jack asked him as he blinked towards him. Moosey jumped excitedly. Well, it shows us the time. And how does it show it to us? Jack asked, examining the clock tower. Moosey was going crazy, hopping here and there. Jack looked at him and said, Calm down, Moosey. We are yet to find the treasure box. Have patience. You see those needles? They are inactive now. But do you know in which direction do these needles rotate? He asked Moosey with a big smile on his face. Moosey started to take rounds of the clock tower from right to left. That was his way of telling Jack that the needles in the clock rotate from right to left. Yippee! I think we've got it! Exclaimed Jack with joy. They both went up to the statue again, and Jack held it. He then rotated the statue from right to left, and you won't believe what happened next. Can you guess what? Oh my god, said Jack with his eyes wide open. Moosey was standing still as he just saw something which was beyond his imagination. The statue popped up with a big spring attached to it, and there it was, shining like a gold, small treasure box which was as beautiful as the rising sun reflected in the sea. Wow, this is beautiful, exclaimed Jack as the photo of the treasure box reflected in his shiny eyes. Jack took out the treasure box from the square block and slowly kept it down on the ground on the dry leaves. But their adventure was not over yet. There was an old lock hanging on the handle of the treasure box. Come on, Jack. We have come this far. We can do it. Come on, Jack, he said to himself, looking around. Moosey, where are you? There you are, Moosey. What is so interesting about this clock tower that is fascinating you so much? Jack asked when he saw Moosey taking rounds of the clock tower again. Muzi came running and started to pull Jack's shirt again and brought him towards the clock tower this time too. But this time, Muzi brought him on the other side of the clock tower. What is it, Muzi? Oh, so this clock is double sided. Does that say something? Is this the answer to my clue? Jack whispered to himself as he started to look around. Suddenly, he saw a letter box on the left side of the clock tower, which was now covered with rust and dirt. Jack ran towards it. Thank you, God. Hey, Muzi, see, this letterbox is open. Maybe its lock broke due to the storm? And we have something inside this, Jack exclaimed with happiness. Muzi started to jump in order to see what was there in the letterbox. Jack said, "You jump so much, Muzi, don't you get tired?" There was an antique envelope inside. Jack took it out as Muzi kept the banana peel in Jack's bag. "This is interesting," said Jack as he found an antique key inside the envelope. Jack put in the key in that lock of the treasure box. And yes, it fitted just right. "We've got it, Muzi!" exclaimed Jack with happiness. As Jack opened up the treasure box, he couldn't believe his eyes. "Wow!" he exclaimed. There in it were shiny gold coins and rich antique objects. "This is so awesome. Look, Muzi, now we will give this treasure to the hospital committee and they can use it for the treatment of the sick people of Skyline City," Jack said as he moved his hand amongst the treasure to see what all was in there. "And see this antique bottle. It is so lovely. I'll keep this in my adventure collection. This will always remind me of the adventure we had in the lost city," he said, picking up the antique bottle and adoring it. He locked the treasure box and put it in his bag slowly. He then pushed the statue down again in order to close the square block and place the statue in its original position. "Time to stand again, dear statue," he said as he fitted the statue in its actual position. "What do you want to have as a party, Muzi?" Jack asked as they started to return towards the gate. They were still following the map. After all, who would like to get lost in the lost city? Jack and Muzi would. But the adventure does not end here. I know you are going crazy. Even I am. On approaching the gate, Jack searched for the button to tell the password but couldn't find it. He was scared now. He and Muzi had to go outside at any condition. Muzi climbed up a dry tree near the gate to see if he could find the button. Suddenly, he came down and pulled Jack towards the left side of the gate. There it was, the round button. These people must be fun. Such secrets they must be holding. Made a boy like me think so much. What to say of any other boy or girl? Jack said as he drank some water from his bottle. "Come on, Muzi, press that button," he said as he cheered for Muzi. Muzi pressed the button and again a small rectangle wooden board slid towards the left side this time. But the gate did not open on writing the password. "Are you kidding me? This is unbelievable," Jack said as he looked at Muzi and Muzi looked at him. Jack checked the spelling again. "The lost city? This is right. I am going crazy, Muzi," Jack said as he rubbed his forehead to think of what was going wrong. Jack looked at the map again. He saw Muzi taking rounds of that dry tree, but this time from left to right. Does this explain it? Well, we are returning back. So, why not try writing the password from back to front? He spoke to himself. He then exclaimed with joy, "Come here, Muzi. It's time to go home." Jack rubbed the old letters with his handkerchief. "Write the password" was written on it. He wrote the following this time: HT. That was it. The gate opened and they both cheered with joy. What a thrilling adventure this was! Jack had faced very few of such adventures wherein he was forced to think so much. Thank you so much, dear Lost City. You have given us an experience which will stay with us for forever, Jack said as he gave a flying kiss to the gate. I'll bring you special mini bananas for a party, Muzi, said Jack as they both were going back to where the cycle was parked. And what will you give me? Asked Jack. Muzi jumped and hugged Jack and kissed him, showing his love for him as the gift. Jack smiled and said, I cannot imagine my life without you, Muzi. Love you so much. Then they cycled back to their home. Muzi was busy taking out more bananas from Jack's bag and hugged him tightly when they crossed the pits on the road. The next day, all the newspapers and news channels were filled with Jack's and Moosey's thriller adventure. The whole Skyline City was proud of having such a brave boy in their town. The next day, Jack donated the treasure to the hospital in his city. Moosey, his family, and the leaders of the city were all present there. He was then awarded with a thank you medal in his school, and Moosey got to eat mini bananas, which he carried for his monkey family too. This thriller was a crazy one. It was crazy as it could be. Would you like to go on such an adventure? Think about it. Bye, everyone. I'll catch you up with the next story. Take care and have a good time. Bye.